Look, I'm not stupid, okay? I might be dumb, but I'm not stupid. In my last video, I said that this could not be Jax because he wasn't holding an axe. He was obviously holding a mace. But after a million people commented telling me that I was looking at the mace wrong and that it actually was an axe, I literally stared at this picture trying to see the axe, and then I did. The truth is, when I first glanced at this image, I thought this was part of a cave behind him, and I just accepted that assumption, and I could not see the axe blade. It's kind of like this optical illusion. Depending on how your brain interprets it, you can either see two people looking at one another or a vase. And my brain is old. It just doesn't work like it used to. Please don't judge me. But you guys know me, I will always admit when I'm wrong, and in this case, I was wrong. So I guess at this point we can safely assume that this is Jax. Rest in peace, Jace. I loved you, and you only lived for a couple of minutes before the Roblox kids tore you to pieces. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the real news. Last night at 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we got another new image from the upcoming Halloween event, and booyah! I was right! This was posted by TDS developer Razuadix to the official Paradoxum Games Twitter account, and it says it's trudging. And along with that tweet, he also posted some interesting clues for us in the TDS Discord. The first thing I want to mention is that, again, he says night 2 of question mark. Then down at the bottom, he says new event boss leak every 24 hours. How many nights will there be? In my mind, this confirms my theory that the event will use a night-based system instead of waves, and at the end of each night, you have to kill a high health mini boss in order to progress to the next night. Because if these were just pictures of regular enemies, why would he be referring to them as bosses? No, these are not just enemies. These are strong bosses that you have to fight each night in order to get to the next night. Okay, before I go any further, I want to say that there is a lot to talk about here, so I'm going to try and structure this video in a way that best explains everything that I think is happening. First off, let's talk about the boss in this image. Since we already know that the image from yesterday is most likely Jax, let's go ahead and assume that this is also a remade enemy as well. But what enemy could it be? Let's take a closer look. What the heck is this thing? Immediately, when I first looked at this pic, I thought it was some kind of octopus because this is obviously a tentacle right here. You can plainly see that it has multiple suction cups, and that's exactly what an octopus would be using to hold something like a trident. Now, if you need more proof that this is a sea creature, come on. You can clearly see water droplets all over the trident. Okay, wait, what? You still don't believe me? All right, fine. Let's talk about what a trident is. According to the Google machine, a trident is a three-pronged spear, especially used as an attribute of Poseidon. Now, if you're a little 8-year-old Roblox kid, then you might not already know that Poseidon is the god of the sea in classical mythology. Oh wait, I know what you guys will understand. You know Aquaman, that fish guy from all those Avenger movies you guys go crazy about? He carries a trident. So now you know that the trident is associated with water. I think this is an octopus creature holding a trident, and he's gonna be the mini boss of the second night. Now we can ask, are there any octopus enemies that have already been in TDS that could have gotten a remake to be in this year's Halloween event? Well, wouldn't you know it, there is an enemy that is not exactly an octopus, but it was in the Halloween 2019 event, and it has octopus tentacles. That enemy is called the Swamp Thing. Now, I know it doesn't look exactly like this leaked image, but if it is a remake, it's gonna look a little different. Even the remade Jax doesn't look exactly like it used to. Another huge clue that makes me think this is a Swamp Thing remake comes from the Swamp Thing's description on the TDS wiki page. Here it says it walks quite slowly and has very high health, with only Jax and Jacobot having higher health. So first thing we see here is that this enemy is already connected to another enemy from the Halloween 2019 event that we're pretty sure is going to be in this year's event. And another piece of the puzzle that makes me think this is the Swamp Thing are the words on the leaked image, it's trudging. What does trudging mean? Again, I had to turn to the magic Google machine to find out, and it defines trudging as walking slowly and with heavy steps. Bruh, look at how the TDS wiki describes the Swamp Thing. It walks quite slowly and has very high health. That's trudging. Let's go! Taking a closer look at the wiki page, you can see that the base health of this enemy is only 6,000, which really isn't anywhere close to the 50,000 health that Jax has. But if this is indeed a Swamp Thing remake, the devs could definitely have given it something like 60,000 health. The other possibility is that it's still only gonna have 6,000 health, but if that was the case, I don't think Raz would be teasing it as a boss. It would just be an enemy because of that low health. So I think it's very likely that when it got updated, it got more health for this event, and it's no longer just an enemy, but is now an actual boss. Now let's go ahead and go over some evidence against this creature being the Swamp Thing. Well, the first thing I see is Swamp Thing ain't got no trident. In fact, the only enemy in Tower Defense Sim that carries a trident is the Gold Guard, and this is definitely not the Gold Guard. I think it's much more likely that when they remade the Swamp Thing, the devs gave it a trident, and considering the fact that bosses have weapons like swords, tridents, and spears that they use to stun the towers with, this explanation for why the Swamp Thing would have a trident actually makes a lot of sense. Another piece of evidence that this is not the Swamp Thing is the fact that we don't know for sure if the other leaked image is even Jax. These could all be completely new bosses that we've never seen before, and that would explain why it doesn't look anything like any of the enemies that we've seen in the game before. Alright, that is all the evidence I have for and against this creature being the Swamp Thing. Now I want to make up for being a complete idiot in my last vid by really studying this creature and describing what features I can see that it definitely has. This time I made sure to take a long hard look at it so I'm not making the same mistake again, okay? The first thing I notice is that this guy's wearing a helmet that has a giant horn right in the middle, so he's definitely wearing armor. You can even make out the shoulder plates on each side, but unfortunately, because this is such a close-up pic, that's all I can really see. I am gonna go ahead and assume that we can only see his right eyes because the helmet's blocking us from seeing the eyes on the other side of his head. Luckily for you guys, I am not only a master video game player, I'm also an extremely talented artist. So I went ahead and took this info to draw up a professionally rendered image of what I think this boss is gonna look like. Prepare to feast your eyes on the first unofficial image of the Swamp Thing remake in the Tower Defense Simulator Halloween 2021 event. Now hold on, I know what you're thinking. Why am I wasting my time making YouTube videos for kids when I could obviously be making millions off of my artwork? Well, the truth is, I just love you guys. And now you know that if my channel ever dies, I can just fall back on my master drawing skills. One final piece of evidence that makes me think that this is a Swamp Thing remake is that it's green. And Swamp Thing is green. Case closed. Swamp Thing remake confirmed. Rio gone wrong at 3 AM. Cops call grandma died. Alright, now moving on to the last thing I want to talk about in regards to this leak. Raz says night 2 of ? And then at the bottom he says new event boss leak every 24 hours. How many nights will there be? Then below that there's the numbers 1 through 6. Now the strange thing about these numbers is that regular people such as myself cannot add reactions in this Discord channel, which most likely means that Raz himself selected these reactions after he posted this message. So he chose the numbers 1 through 6. This could mean that at most he's only planning for 6 nights. If this is true, it changes everything about my interpretation of what's going on here. Because it's totally possible that when he says night 2 of ? He's not saying this is going to be the boss of night 2 in the event, but instead that this is night 2 of the leaked images. And so there's only going to be a certain number of leaked images, and in those he's going to release a sneak peek of a new boss every 24 hours for only 6 nights. If that's the case, then this event is not going to be divided up into nights, but instead will use the normal wave structure that we're all familiar with. If that's what he's saying and planning on releasing a new image every night for something like 5 or 6 nights, then we can reasonably guess that at the end of those 6 nights, once the leaks are done, the Halloween update is gonna drop, because he's already said before that he would not release any Halloween teaser images until the event release is near. Now I'm thinking that this event could be released as soon as 5 days from today. That would mean that we could potentially be playing the Halloween event as early as this Friday, October 22nd. This would completely fall in line with a Halloween update release schedule for a Roblox game, since it would be released a little over a week before Halloween. And if this event runs for a full month, it would end around the 22nd of November, which would be when the TDS devs begin preparing to release the Winter 2021 event update. Of course, this is all speculation on my part. I'm still really hoping that when he says Night 2 of question mark, he's referring to this enemy being the boss of Night 2 in the event. But the thing here that's concerning me the most about this theory is that he asks us how many nights we think there's gonna be, and we can only choose the numbers 1 through 6. If the numbers went up higher to 10 or 15, I'd have more confidence that my original theory was correct, but now I'm not so sure. Of course, there's always the possibility that Raz wasn't the one to add these reactions and that they were added by some other high-ranking member of the TDS Discord server. In that case, they probably wouldn't have anything at all to do with the actual number of nights that he has planned. So I think the biggest thing we can take away from this post is the fact that the Halloween update is gonna be released sometime between October 22nd and October 31st. And that brings me to the end of this video. Please let me know what you guys think is going on here, because honestly, I have no idea. The best I could do is guess, so if you have any info that I haven't mentioned, go ahead and drop it down in the comments below so that I can get a better idea of what the heck is going on. And on that note, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and smash that like button with your forehead, hit the subscribe button with your big toe, and turn on notifications however you can so you don't miss any of my amazing upcoming content. And I will see you guys next time. Take care, be safe, and never forget what I always say. Peace.